welcome back to Speak Freely. Here we celebrate the freedom of speech, and we're going to be reacting to an interesting video today by a YouTuber here on the platform, and the title of the video is The Great Reset is Coming for Your Kids. Alright, so we're going to right into it. Before you do, if you like this type of videos, please like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon for notifications when I do upload. All of that really does help with the algorithm, guys. And if you'd like to support the channel even further, you can donate. My PayPal and Cash App link is in the comment section below and also in the description box. Of course it helps. If you don't have to, you can just like, comment, and subscribe. Another great way to support the channel is visit my brand new merch shop, links down below, and links to all the internet platforms I'm on and my socials, including Twitter, and all the ways to support me and contact me for business is always in the links down below. Other than that, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Alright, here we go.
Now, we all know that our public education system is a complete cesspool of a politicized and corrupt thinking. But what if I told you that the Great Reset is coming after your kids and our education system? I mean, think about it. If the Great Resetters can sow the seeds now when our children are young and malleable, it'd be a lot easier to implement their agenda for the next generation to come. So how exactly the Great Resetters are going to do this? What are the telltale signs that the Great Reset has already infiltrated your children's school, and what to do to stop this madness? And as always, if you enjoy our commentaries and opinions to keep you and your family free, consider subscribing to our channel. We'd greatly appreciate it. So just to recap, the Great Reset is an agenda established by the World Economic Forum back in 2020 at the start of the pandemic. It all began with this one man, Klaus Schwab, aka the most dangerous Sith Lord of our time. And the agenda is pretty simple. It's to consolidate all the world's wealth into a central control where you will own nothing and you will be happy.
Hell no.
Already, the organization behind the Great Reset is targeting young people through the Young Global Leaders Initiative. The Young Global Leaders consist of highly influential people who are at the age of 28 through 38. Normally, these individuals are executive officers of companies or they hold a political office all around the world. One notable member of the Young Global Leaders is Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Meta, aka Facebook. And I'll share why this is really important in just a few minutes. But the Great Resetters don't want to stop at just molding highly influential people from the ages of 28 to 38. They want to start molding people at an even younger age, potentially starting from kindergarten. Now, one particular evidence of this can be found in the World Economic Forum's own website. Last year, the World Economic Forum published an article titled, "Young People Hold the Key to Creating a Better Future." And another article highlighting that there are approximately 15,000 youth that are supposedly claiming themselves to be activists for the World Economic Forum.
Alright, so the Great Reset. A lot of people actually still think that this is a conspiracy theory and is like a literal thing. You talk about the World Economic Forum, they have these meetings, they've talked about this, they put out that video about you and own nothing, that weird cult-like video. Mind you, not very progressive, wasn't a little diversity in there. But anyway, it's not a conspiracy. It sounds like a conspiracy because it's fucking crazy, but it's not a conspiracy. He's talking about how, you know, the education system, as usual, is a pool for propaganda and creating a narrative and sort of curating the society that you want. Education system has always been that way, but now it's trying to gear people towards a certain ideology instead of like little worker bees like it used to be. And so they are, of course, going to start with the youth because that's how you do it. That's how Mao did it. That's how a lot of communist, totalitarian, authoritarian countries do it. They get the kids involved, and so, you know, they can change the culture, right? It only takes what, like a generation and a half, 2 generations to completely flip a culture and change a culture. And you have to start with kids. Why would you start with adults who've already made up their mind, might already be analytical and critical thinkers, and kind of can smell your bullshit from a mile away? They're going to start with children. So yeah, but anyway, very interesting. Let's continue.
The article even points out that there are approximately 14 million youth activists for a particular climate change initiative. Quoting from the article, it says, "It started with Greta Thunberg, but now more than 14 million youth activists are fighting for our future thanks to the Fridays for Future movement." Again, it's very clear that the Great Resetters have a definitive aim for our children and our youth, reshaping their minds and thoughts to serve the World Economic Forum's will. Do it. And those are just the tip of the iceberg examples of what the Great Resetters want. But how exactly are the Great Resetters going to achieve more of this? The first step of all this is to take control of the school curriculums. So instead of schools teaching math, reading, comprehension, and just simple common sense, we'll see more activist-centered topics like critical race theory, climate change, and gender studies. And this isn't simple as calling it a liberal agenda, as the real goal is for the big corporations to make an unholy amount of money doing this. We'll see an increasing number of legislatives pass that would push more funding towards curriculums that promote the Great Reset agenda.
This is very true, and if you look at when it comes to the teachers union, it is extremely progressive and it's extremely left. That's why you see anytime a politician or a bill try to come and try to take some of the power back away from the school districts, from the teachers unions, who are the ones who are fighting it the most? It is the Democrats. They will try to make it seem like any type of change, basically trying to detach the child from the district so the parent can choose where their kids go, having the parents have school choice. Who fights that the most? It is the Democratic Party, it's the progressive left, and it will try to make it seem like it's races or classes or whatever it is to try to get you not to want to vote for it. They will demonize private schools to say it's classes, there's privilege. They will demonize charter schools. You're going to see a big push to demonize homeschooling, and again, they will try to somehow make it a racist, sexist, misogynist thing to want to homeschool your kids because they need to keep you in the education system because they need to fucking brainwash your children. They don't want you to have control. That's why the progressive left has pushed against the DeSantis bill, the parents' rights parental control bill. I know I'm butchering the title, but where parents have more say was taught to their kids. Who pushed that? Who pushed against that the most? Is the progressive left. And of course, once again, they use fear-mongering to make it seem like it was some sort of homophobic sort of bill, calling it the Don't Say Gay bill. They don't want you to have rights and they don't want you to have control of what's being taught to your kids because they want to teach your kids the way they want to teach your kids for a reason. And again, he's right. That's why you see this giant push for gender-related studies pushed to very young kids, as young as kindergarten and preschool age. This sort of critical race theory bullshit and the whole like climate change stuff, right? And Dr. Jordan Peterson has talked about this at length, ad nauseum, about how after this whole Ukraine pandemic thing goes away, the next big push for control they will use the idea of climate change to push more and gain more control. But anyway, let's continue.
And therefore, any textbook companies and teachers union that align with the Great Reset agenda will receive additional funding from the government. So if you're not one of the companies that are aligned with their objectives, you're cut from the funding and you're pretty much on your own. So really, these big corporations really don't care about these social causes.
And also they're doing that to the entertainment industry. They basically, I forgot the name of it, but it's like if the entertainment industry, if you don't meet these basic sort of like diversity quotas, then your studio would get less funding, or it would be less possibility of getting your movie pushed to the theaters and stuff like that. So they're trying to take basically control of the narrative of all aspects of life, basically. But anyway, let's continue.
Care about these social causes, but rather aligning their pocketbooks with that of the government. It's pure crony capitalism. Next, because the government education funding is only awarded to those that are aligned with the Great Reset agenda, most private schools are going to be left on their own to survive. And while most private schools are already self-funded through tuitions and donations, I'm afraid that the Great Resetters may go beyond just cutting off funding. We might even see a scenario where private schools may lose their non-for-profit status and even go as far as levying a large amount of taxes to punish these schools for not aligning themselves with the Great Reset agenda. And much of this is being tried already. There are articles after articles that demand pulling government and community support away from the private schools. And furthermore, we're actually seeing a decline of private school enrollment since the early 1990s. This is especially true for schools with faith background all across the country. And therefore, much of what the Great Resetters are seeking to do is to demolish any diversity of intellectual and critical thinking for our children. But there is a glimmer of hope, and that's none other than what the state of Florida is doing. Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis lately signed a bill into law that requires the state to teach financial literacy in classrooms. Now, this ultimately gives the students an edge in understanding how money is earned and properly managed.
I swear guys, I didn't watch this video. He's saying a lot of stuff that he just said. The whole trying to demolish the idea of diversity of thought is very apparent, especially again when it comes to the progressive left, especially if you're a woman, if you're a person of color, if you're queer or anything like that. They expect you to think the way they want you to think. That's why anybody like me or Candace Owens or Thomas Sowell or Larry Elder or anybody who is black, queer, woman, if you step out of line of how they think you should be thinking, what do? They attack you. They smear you with racial slurs like coon, Uncle Tom, bedwench, stuff like that. They go after your character because they cannot have a diversity of beliefs and thoughts, especially in the communities that they're trying to convince and brainwash to say that we are on your side, stick with us, don't go to the right, don't go to the middle, don't think for yourself, stay with us, we're gonna rescue you. They can't allow you to see behind the curtains. They can't allow you to see what their grand plan really is. Because it's not because they care about us. It's not because they're thinking of the little guy. Like he said, is thinking of the long-term game of how we can gain the most power and make the most money. But anyway, let's continue.
Further creating fiscal independence and not relying on the government. Furthermore, Governor DeSantis signs a bill into law that will forbid instructions on sexual orientation and gender identity in kindergarten through third grade classrooms. And again, this is the kind of stuff that the Great Resetters are trying to promote. Way to go, Ron. Lastly, the Great Resetter's goal for our children is to take control of the media and the information that our children consume. Remember what I said about Mark Zuckerberg? Well, he's a proud member of the Young Global Leaders, an organization that is a catalyst for the Great Reset agenda for the next generation. So doesn't it concern you at all that a Great Resetter controls two of the large social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram? And if you're watching this video, you and I both know that Facebook doesn't always give you the freedom to express your thoughts. Facebook censorship has gotten rampant since 2016, and despite the fact that they're considered an independent platform, Facebook has repeatedly taken sides with a very specific narrative in mind. And that's not all. Mark Zuckerberg is looking to bring his virtual reality platform called Metaverse to the mainstream consumption of media, further increasing consumption of his platform. So where am I exactly going with this? Well, much of the Facebook's users skew to the younger age group, with 18 to 34 being the largest of the user base. And the age group skews even younger when we look at users for Instagram, where nearly 60% of all users are 18 through 34.
I honestly thought that anybody who used Facebook was like a boomer at this point or an older millennial. Didn't know there were still young users on there, but I haven't been on Facebook like in years because it's too many. The insanity on Facebook is too much for me. It's too triggering. Also, there was another woman, I forget her name, she's a pretty big YouTuber. She did a really good deep dive that was short and concise about the money trail when it comes to the Great Reset, and about all the people that's involved who like to say that they care about climate change and human rights, and the dark history behind all those companies that very much hurt the climate and didn't really give a fuck about human rights. I would probably do a reaction to that video because it's a really, really good video. She did a really good job of following the money trail. If you want to know what's really happening, you have to follow the money. But yeah, let's continue.
4. This means that Mark Zuckerberg, as the CEO of both Facebook and Instagram, it's hard not to imagine a scenario where both companies are controlling the flow of information based on what aligns with the Great Reset agenda or not. Same could be said about TikTok, which is overwhelmingly popular among the young age group, with the largest group of users being ages 10 through 19. And what could go wrong about that? And not surprisingly, the CEO of TikTok, Shu Chu, is also a member of the World Economic Forum. So as you can see, the goal is simple for the Great Reset agenda, and that is to take every bit of control of what your children hear, sees, and thinks. From classrooms to your kids' phones and tablets, the Great Reset will not stop until they have a fresh wave of collectives that will think nothing bad about the agenda. In fact, one could argue that our children will be the one that will usher in the Great Reset and actually welcome it. So if you're a parent like me, or you have a little one in your family, we must be vigilant about the information that our young generation consumes and ensure that the next generation can think for themselves and independently. I've been saying this over and over again, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, you should have the freedom of thought, expression, and speech. Even if you were to tell me that you support the Great Reset, be my guest. But just know what you're getting yourself into.
You're gonna have a bad time.
But as we explore this topic together, there is one threat that remains against any form of private education and choosing how you spend your money in the first place. So to expose this threat and the secret weapon that the Great Resetters are developing, click on this video right here, where I'm going to pull the curtains back to show you what the Great Resetters are up to that can completely wipe away your freedoms and liberties completely.
That was interesting. interesting. Okay, I will go look at the video that he was pointing to. If it's free, if there's not a paywall, I will react to that video because I'm interested in. I don't know what you guys think about this video. Like, there are still a lot of people who think it is a conspiracy. It's just nothing. There's nothing to worry about. But I feel like there's a lot of evidence out there that is happening, and it's been happening for a long time. But tell me, guys, what do you think about what he said, what I said? I honestly, there's a part of me that's kind of like black pilled to the whole Great Reset thing, because a part of me is like, it's in motion, it's happening. What can you really do about it? Like, I know it's very simplified, but a part of me is just like, if we can just get TikTok, like if we can just like destroy that platform. Amazing. I guess like who we vote for, who's in power, will slow down the cycle of the Great Reset. This is a part of me that's feel like it's here to stay. I don't know. I feel like on a mass level it's here to stay, and then on a small community level, like people can just detach themselves from that and just live how they wish to live outside of the matrix, you know what I mean? But tell me, guys, what do you think in the comment section below. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell to get some notifications when I do upload. All of that really does help with the algorithm, guys. And if you'd like to support the channel even further, you can donate. My PayPal me link in the description box below, and also in the comment section. Of course, it helps, but you don't have to. You can just like, comment, and subscribe. Another great way to support the channel is visit my brand new merch shop. Links down below, and links to all the alternative platforms I'm on, my socials, including my Twitter, and also ways to support me and contact me for businesses, always in the links down below. I also have a second travel vlog channel. I travel as a lifestyle, or I live abroad. If you'd like to know where I am in the world, you can go to the description box below, and also in the comment section, hit the link, go subscribe to my travel vlog channel, or follow me on my travel Instagram. My storage is usually what's most up to date. I also have my main channel, Mika Reacts and Reviews, links down below, and you guys have an amazing day. Bye!